Video games are awesome. In fact, they are so cool that some moron decided to dedicate a stupid amount of time to talk about why they rock. But that moron forgot something. He forgot to talk about how good they are at helping with boredom. Because believe me, as someone who created a secret society to look for leprechauns because I was bored, video games helped a lot. Now, normally I would make a video essay about that, but video essays are kind of oversaturated. So I needed a format to use, and my friend suggested top 10s. So for his sake, I'm doing it. I am counting down the top 10 best games to play when you're bored. Meaning, not only do they help you get out of the boredom pit, but also games that you can play for hours on end without getting bored. And if you disagree with any of my choices, I made a YouTube video, so I'm right. Number 10. I'm just gonna hurry up and get this one out of the way. Minecraft is a sandbox game with limitless possibilities. You can make a mansion, you can kill a dragon, you can make complex contraptions with redstone, you can blow up your friends' redstone contraptions, or blow up your friends with redstone contraptions. The number of possible murders are infinite. But that's kind of the problem. In my experience, Minecraft is so big and there are so many ways of killing people that you don't know which way you want to start with. It's so big that it can overwhelm someone. There's not exactly a goal in Minecraft, so you can get bored because the game gives you no clear thing to do. This isn't always a problem, which is why the game is still on this list. But the game can be confusing for new players and for people who don't understand the game that well. But when you learn about things like mods, servers, building, speedruns, redstone, maps, and much, much more, the amount of time you can spend in Minecraft is absurd. I mean, look at this. It's just dumb how much you can do. Number 9. Running and gunning, looting and shooting, grapple hooks, and microtransactions. Apex Legends is tons of fun. There are legends to unlock, consistent updates, tons of modes. It's just a lot of fun and a lot of content. You can play alone or with friends, but because it's an online FPS, if you don't play with friends, you're going to be saddled with a bunch of randos, which isn't always great. But for an online FPS, it has a bunch of content. There's a bunch of weapons, a few big maps, different modes, and a few playable characters. And when you combine all these factors, the amount of strategy in Apex is huge. There are so many different ways to play. You can abandon your friends and lone wolf, you can work with your team and boss them around, or you can be like me and die in the first 20 seconds, only for your friends to purposely not revive you. But that respawn mechanic I just mentioned, that thing, when used properly, is the thing that puts Apex above other battle royales, or just online team FPSs in general. It allows you to make mistakes, as long as you have someone there who can revive you. So you still have to be good at the game, but you don't have to be that good. The character choices are great too. The abilities are cool and unique, and the strategy they add is insane. The movement is great, and it always keeps the game fresh. As long as you have 80,000 gigabytes, Apex Legends is great. Any less and you may find yourself deleting your own recycling bin itself just so you can update it. Number 8. We all, as people, as humans, all childhood had. And in these childhoods, my friends and I would argue which one of our favorite characters would win in a fight. Now we settle these arguments in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, a fighting game in which you can fight as your favorite characters against your friends' favorite characters, and then yell at them when they spam neutral B. It's just great. There are endless amounts of matchups. It's insane, and as of now, they are still releasing DLC. Hopping online with your friends and fighting is a huge amount of fun. Well, yes, the online does suck. Even playing offline is a huge amount of fun. You can play against CPU, Master Classic Mode, unlock spirits, and if you have them, you can train amiibos. You can do the World of Light, you can make custom stages, and Miis. You can master the home run contest, or just set up CPU fighters and start a gambling den. From my experience, it's very profitable. The point is that there's just an absurd amount of content, and there is so much to do. And if you can't decide, you can just choose randoms and clash. Number 7. Steep is beautiful. It's just so much fun to snowboard through the hills and look at the landscape. It's calming and great. But there's also a jetpack. The game is great because the sense of exploration and adventure never goes away. Not because the world is huge, even though it is, but more because you become better and better. So the way you move is faster, smarter, and different. So when you're going through the same area a second time, it's different and you see different parts of the world, or you see them from a different angle. You learn to adapt and it's just great. The controls are smooth and it feels great to play. Not to mention all the clothing you can buy and all the missions to complete. And if you're done going through the pretty big base game, there's DLCs with new areas and new vehicles. If you want, you can find a drop site in a random place and just jump and fly around. You can base jump, paraglide, ski, fly in a wingsuit, paraglide again, and the best of all, you can go sledding. It's more metal than Doom. It's just like a really good game. Number 6. Hollow Knight is a big game with a lot to do. The goal's not always clear, which can be an issue, but if you explore, you'll find that in itself gives the game meaning. It's a game with an awesome map, tons of cool characters and bosses to fight, and the way that progression works in it is great. Its movement is the definition of easy to learn, hard to master. The way abilities work into the pre-existing movement is excellent. The customization of movesets via the charm system makes it replayable. You might have to look up a guide every now and then and always, but other than that, it's great. Once you beat it, you are nowhere near done. With the Hell of the White Palace and Path of Pain, and the true ending. Oh wait, yeah, and there's DLC. So did I mention that Hollow Knight has 4 great DLC packs with bosses, charms, quests, and a lot more, including a boss rush mode in which you keep health between levels. It's a lot of fun, but it's also hell. Also, Hollow Knight has a hardcore setting if you're a sadist. Number 5. Pokemon is a huge and long-running franchise. As of right now, there are over 800 Pokemon, but when it was released, you couldn't catch all of them in Pokemon Sword and Shield. But after the DLC's release, there are a lot more Pokemon available, and a lot more content. Now, if the game never got this DLC, it probably wouldn't be on the list, but because of that DLC, there's no lack of content in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Just to rattle a few off the top of my head, you can make competitive teams, you can complete the decks, you can shiny hunt, you can make your own personal dream team of your favorite Pokemon, you can create a living dex, you can get your Pokemon to level 100, you can master the battle tower. There's just a lot you can do. But by far, the best thing you can do is organize your Pokemon. It's great. All the different ways you can sort your Pokemon. You can sort them by type, dex number, or separate the legendaries from the simpletons. You can also order them from best to worst, funniest nickname to worst nickname. It's just, the options are truly limitless. It's great. Number 4. Halo Reach is the best FPS, and it's not even particularly close. Its multiplayer is great. There are a ton of different modes, including a Forge mode that lets you make your own map. You can make a racetrack, you can create a mini game, you can make an obstacle course. You can basically make your own game mode. It allows an absurd amount of creativity. Some of my best gaming memories are from playing with my brother and his friends in whatever dumb game mode he made that week. But that's not even close to all you can do. There's also an awesome campaign with beautiful landscapes, some of the most iconic music in gaming, and skulls that allow you to turn the difficulty up to an insane amount. The Lasso Run is legendary. The game lets you decide whether you want to have the most fun playing or want to have the most genuine challenge playing. You get to choose if the grunts' heads explode in confetti when you shoot them. You get to make your run. And when you're over, you can add another challenge and do it all again. Halo Reach is truly the best FPS that you can play when you're bored. Number 3. Breath of the Wild is possibly the longest game Nintendo has ever made, at least in terms of in-game hours. It's a huge game with a ton of collectibles, 120 shrines, 72 side quests, a lot of weapons and armor, and an infuriating 900 Korok seeds. Why? Why do they exist? They're just tiny little why? But the best thing about Breath of the Wild isn't those 900 infuriating little seeds, but the fact that this huge expanse of content never gets in the way. If you want, you can go straight to Ganon, as long as you're good enough. But if you take your time, you're going to enjoy yourself so much. Paragliding and shield surfing makes the movement fun. The Sheikah Slate and the abilities it holds are great and add so much possibility. You're constantly forced to adapt, and the way you play changes. So when you replay it, it will inevitably be a completely different playthrough. And, Master Mode adds more challenge, and there's a lot more you can do to make a playthrough different. It's always fresh and unique. Number 2. Okay, I love Spelunky 2. It's such a good game. The feeling you get from exploring and looting is great. It's such a good game. If you don't know, Spelunky 2 is a roguelike, which means every run is randomly generated. So the caves that you explore are randomly generated every time that you inevitably die. The way you beat the game is by getting to the end of the cave. You just keep going down. But there are so many different pathways and enemies and traps. Every run, you learn something and you get better. It's fast-paced action and it's incredible. But the thing that helps this game a lot is the fact that it falls into a category I like to call has a jetpack. It's just so incredibly fun and adaptable. You can play with friends or solo. Honestly, I'm not sure which I prefer. The one more go-ish nature of the game makes it very easy to get sucked into. The platforming is tight and the controls are smooth. The game is incredible. The amount of depth in this game is insane. It can take so long to even get one win. And there are so many different ways of beating Spelunky 2. The game also rewards you for exploring with tons of achievements and characters. The game has endless content, kind of literally, but the thing that sets it apart is a simple fact. You always know your goal. Go deeper. I only had 10 and some things got cut, so here are some of those. Animal Crossing. I'ma be honest, I never loved Animal Crossing, just not for me. Maybe it's because I don't have the connection, but if it's your thing, I get it. Sky is a really pretty game, but, the mobile platforms hold it back. It might have made this list if I made it after it was released on Switch. Tetris is a classic, just a little bit boring after a while. Hearthstone is Magic the Gathering, the video game. Oh, wait, other than that one. Number 1. Imagine a Mario game that never ends. Now stop imagining it and listen to me. That Mario game exists. It's called Mario Maker 2. Mario Maker 2 is a game where the player can make levels for others to play, and then play levels that other people made. It's really fun. There's an insane number of levels with an insane amount of content. Not all the levels are good, not even close, but nothing beats finding a series of good, unique levels. But the thing that puts this over the top is the feature that came in the last major update the game will ever get. Super Worlds. Super Worlds let the player make an entire Mario game that escalates in difficulty with boss battles, shortcuts, collectibles, and much more. This feature is so insanely cool. There are a lot of awesome Super Worlds that you can play, both with extremely hard and extremely unique levels. The detail you can put into a level is great. The feeling of making a great level is incredible. The satisfaction that comes from uploading a level is so immense. If you haven't played the game, do it. Like, now. It's great. And while you're at it, you can play my levels and tell me what you think. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, subscribe and leave a like. If you're deeply disappointed in the fact that I made a top 10 list, leave a comment. Okay, bye.